Okay, welcome to the weekend video. This is Enda here from bullwaves.org. If you like what I do, if you want nightly Elliott wave analysis at the market close in New York, well then head over to bullwaves.org, check out the membership. Send me an email, send me an email if you're interested. Apart from that, welcome to the weekend video. Let's get into it and see what's happened this week. It's been another interesting week. Again, we just seem to be in this. We seem to be in this. How would you say? Transition phase, I think, might be the best way of describing it. We are transitioning. There's definitely a shift happening. But how that's manifesting itself in the short-term charts is still a little bit. There's something that I can't quite grasp. You'll see later on. Maybe I'm speaking mostly about the stock market here, but things are moving in the favorable direction, but we haven't hit that kind of that realization point, or that point where emotions crystallize into, let's say, actions. And that's maybe what I'm missing at this point. But anyway, let's go forward. Let's see where we stand. And I think I've rambled too much. Let's just get into it. Okay, here is euro dollar. You can see I've marked the wave one top here. Where on the daily chart? Where have I marked it? Yeah, here's the daily chart. You can see the wave one top marked. Let's say back in February, and then we had an initial A wave down. We've had three waves up in wave B, and then we've had, let's say, I think anyway, it's the initial move lower into wave C of 2. So it's a long, excuse me, drawn out affair. But the C wave should head lower for probably the next month or so anyway. All going well. That's for our account. You can see the initial wave 1 top. We've got wave A down, 3 waves up in wave B, and then we've come down to an how would I say? We've had the initial step lower. It seems to me that we're building a second wave lower high this week. So we'll go to the short-term chart and I'll show you what I'm thinking there. Possible 5 waves down, 3 waves up, set nicely in a trend channel, hit the target, and reversed. So everything up to this point is favorable to a reversal pattern. What needs to happen now is the acceleration phase. So we need, again, that's the underlying theme, I think, of this video is, when do we hit that tangible point of reversal? When the market actually gives up that flotation device. If the it's like when a kid thinks that they can swim and they have their armbands on and they're floating in the water, and then they think, yes, I can swim, and they take off the armbands, and lo and behold, you're at the bottom of the pool. So that acceleration lower is what I'm looking for, the anti-armbands move. Euro dollar seems to be moving in that direction now. Let's see if we get an acceleration lower into wave 3 next week. That's what I'll be looking for. This week has been quite, reasonably successful in terms of this second wave, but it's gone nowhere. The price has gone nowhere. So looking for that step lower into wave 3 next week. That's the outlook, I think. Let me get a drink. I don't know if sparkling water is the best thing to be drinking before you start recording yourself, but however, that's where I am. Okay, here is the 4-hour counting cable. You've got 5 waves up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into this year's high. This year's high topped out at, what do we got? Somewhere around 131.50, let's say. And then we've started to move impulsively lower off that high. So the point is the same in this market. Have we reversed into that larger third wave down? And I'm afraid that's yet to be decided. So we do have possible series of impulse wave or developing 5-wave pattern. The developing 5-wave pattern is what I'm looking at on the short-term count. You can see that's the orthodox top there, 131.42, let's call it. We've got wave 1 down, wave 2 up, wave 3 down, kind of hybrid triangle here. Combination wave 4 up. The wave 4 held below the wave 1 low, so just about holding that, the overall pattern here, 5 waves down. And we seem to be moving lower down into wave 5 today. So it looks like a wave 1 and 2 developing off wave 4. We need 5 waves down. So I'm looking for a break of support, that previous fourth wave, 125.88. If we break 125.88, that will go a long way to confirming our larger count here. Forgive me, I must have a bit of a cold or something coming on. So we've got 5 waves down. If we get that break of support next week, we've got 5 waves complete. We'd look for a second wave lower high. And then again, that acceleration lower. Okay, so let's move in and move on to dollar yen. We've been looking for, there was a sizable contingent in the world that suggested that the dollar was dead back in late last year with that decline into wave 1. Or no, sorry, this is the alternate count, that decline. And then we were looking for a reversal, a revival rally off that initial decline. We got that throughout most of the year. And then we had the recent decline, pretty sharp. And I just wasn't willing to turn on this one because I think the larger pattern does deserve a new high. Forgive me, I have the alternate count on the daily chart there. But that alternate count is close to being invalidated now. It looks like we have 5 waves up developing in a third wave, and we have retraced most of the recent decline. So even today, we are just a few pips off creating a new high above 145. That's what we were looking for. That's what has transpired. There's no reason to change the outlook here yet. Anyway, as long as the market continues to work its way higher, we may well hit a third of a third of a third next week. If we do, that will accelerate higher again. We may even hit towards that 150 level again, if that does happen. All this to say, the dollar is rebounding. Across the 3 markets here, the dollar is rebounding. So what does that say about, let's say, risk assets? Even when, we're looking at a rebounding dollar on the back of downgrades, in US debt. Tell me how that works. Sentiment is a strange thing. You may even say that the rating agencies have been overtaken by negative sentiment, and they downgraded US debt on the back of their extreme sentiment. I think they might get upgrades again. I think we'll probably start hitting a series of upgrades on US debt soon. It may not be a bad time to start looking at your treasuries pretty soon, even now. Anyway, that's beside the point. The dollar is rallying. There's no reason to change the wave count right now. We may be entering a third of a third higher. So let's see how that goes. Okay, let's get to the stock market. Here you can see in the daily count, we have, floated back up to close to all-time highs again. We've still got that through wave corrective look to the pattern, but I will freely admit that there's, I may be wrong on this. Who knows? So far, I'm reasonably confident to stay with the corrective lower high in wave 2, but who knows? There is an undercurrent changing in the market. There's no doubt about that. There is a kind of a creeping disbelief, that's for sure. Would that manifest off the top of a second wave lower high? It's quite possible it would. We haven't had, again, it's searching and searching for that impulsive move lower to break the back of the rally. I don't think that will come until, or the back of the rally won't be broken until we break that B wave low. So you're looking at 31,500, 31,400 there for that to happen. That's a long way down from where we stand right now. That doesn't mean it can't happen quickly. It could happen in the space of a couple of weeks. There's no doubt about that. If we trip, if this reflation mentality that seems to have gripped people actually does trip, and we turn and we flip, the market can flip on a dime. Who knows? The pattern this week is reasonably interesting, so I probably should get into that. Here's the short-term count. That's the wave C pattern. I'm looking at a possible ending diagonal or a wedge pattern, maybe. The overlap of wave 1 and 4 pretty much classifies it as an ending diagonal. So we'll see. We do have, a throw over in the final fifth wave. So we've got a throw over the top trend line there of that diagonal pattern. Let's see if we can break down through that top trend line again. Even down below that wedge again would be quite favorable towards my point of view. Okay, so let's get into the hourly count. Here is that hourly count, a possible fifth wave, a possible wave 1. And the interesting part about this is the second wave may well be the pattern that I was looking at last night may well explain the very choppy action we've had over the last week or so. You have a 5-wave decline into wave 1, you have an A wave rally, and then you have a B wave triangle. So we have an A, B, C, D, and E triangle, and then a C wave rally. So you've got that overall A, B, C pattern. Let's see, does that fit within a trend channel? Oh, look at that. How nice that is. You could pretty much say that's almost to the pip. You have the B wave low here. Wave A and wave C are almost equal to the pip. And then we got an impulsive decline out of that. Again, a lower high in the second wave. Impulsive decline back into the thrust of the action of the triangle there. And then some sort of maybe an expanded flat correction again today. So we may have a 1 initial decline and then an A, B, C correction into wave 2. So if that's the case, then it is imperative that we get a third wave decline next week. And if I zoom out a bit, third wave decline should bring us back into, let's say, the previous combination of highs there. I'm marking the B wave high here at about, that also marks the wave 3 high here at 34,575, and the internal B wave high here at 34,477. So we've got a cluster of highs that kind of came in around the 34,500 level. So I would like to see the next thrust of downside action to fall into that, at least fall into that cluster of support there. So if it's a third wave, then we should fall into that cluster of support. We should break it, I think, really, to be, let's say, more proactive in this pattern. But for the moment, it's an interesting pattern off the top. I can't say it's the word of the Lord or anything like that, but it's definitely an interesting pattern. And the pattern in wave 2 here does explain quite well the internal action here of that's happened in the Dow. I have to say the S&P action in the S&P is a little more kosher. It's a little more how would you say favorable, but the Dow is the one that's kind of throwing me for a loop, I think, these days. Okay, excuse me again. We have gold. The action in gold is suggesting an interim low is coming in. We're back within the price action this week has basically kind of hung around within the territory of the previous B wave here. So we haven't broken, we haven't reached lower to break that B wave low yet. that would have been favorable, I think. And maybe that'll happen yet before wave 1 completes. But I think we've got a reasonable pattern. We've got a 1 expanded or running flat wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. We're falling now in a fifth of wave 1. Now, unless this pattern can be explained differently, that's possible. I'm quite open to that, to be quite honest. But at the moment, I'm suggesting that we do hit a low pretty soon in wave 1, and we'll get a rebound rally in wave 2 over the definitely next week. And we'll probably bounce back into the previous fourth wave, so that's 1946 or so. Once we get back into that previous fourth wave, then I would look for a top in that wave 2, and then a turn down into wave 3. So again, it's been an interesting decline. We haven't had that acceleration phase. That all-important acceleration phase has not happened yet. So let's see where we go from here. Again, don't forget to check out the website, check out membership for nightly updates, and you will be able to follow these charts along every night. Okay, so here is the 4-hour count in, where did I go? Where did my chart go? Yes, here is the 4-hour count in crude oil. I should go to the daily count here. I have updated this week. We've switched to the alternate count, basically because we threatened that previous high too much, and we broke it finally yesterday. So it has moved higher in 3 waves overall. The action off the recent low has moved higher in 3 waves. There's still some room for maneuver in there. This could be the full fourth wave done. Wave 3 could be, you could set wave 3 at the extreme low, and then wave 4 could be this 3-wave pattern here, no problem. I think there's probably room for another high in crude. Maybe we get back up towards $90 again before turning down into wave 5 of 3. But I do think that wave 5 of 3 is coming. Yeah, I would say probably sometime mid-September, maybe early September. But going by the possibility that we get a a fourth wave decline and a fifth wave rally, I'd give it somewhere around 6 to 8, maybe 6 weeks to play out. So maybe mid-September, we could look for a top in wave C of 4, and then we're looking at a pretty serious decline in wave 5, all going well. So let's get the hourly count. Here you can see the hourly count for this third wave. So we've got this wave 3 of 3 topped out at call it $82. Initial decline. Looks like we have a 3-wave rally back up to a new high for the pattern, but I think this will prove to be call it like a false top, or sorry, a false rally, false breakout. I think this will be an expanded flat correction, so we'll get a wave C decline back below 78.50 again to complete an expanded flat correction wave 4, and then we'd look for a rally in wave 5 again. So again, there are steps to this topping process. We're just going to roll with the punches here. Next week, I'm looking for a decline in wave C of 4, back towards 78.50 again. And if that happens, then again, I'll turn higher into wave 5. Okay, the 4-hour count in the S&P. We've actually come down lower in the, excuse me here, and I'll clean up this chart a little bit. We've come down lower off the top than in the Dow. The action has breached the previous wave 3 high, so we've got that running flat wave 3, running flat wave 4, rally to a new high wave 5, and then the initial decline has at least hit the previous third wave top. So looking promising. I would like to see a break right below that shoulder again. So on the very low end of that, you would probably call it 4,300. I would like to see a break 4,300 really. And that should come, if it does happen, it should come in wave 3 of 1. So, or a threatened, it would call it 4,350. It would at least hit the previous fourth wave low. So let's call it 4,320. I know I'm throwing numbers here out at you. It's just it's a mouthful. But the pattern here is most interesting this week. We did have sideways action for the last week at least, but we seem to have completed 5 waves down in wave 1, possible expanded flat correction wave 2, and then initial move lower anyway last week. Today, to finish the week is what I meant to say. This initial move lower could be the beginning of wave 3 down. So this would be wave 3 of 1. And again, it requires an acceleration lower, and we just haven't got that yet. So if there's hesitation in my voice, you know why. I want to see that kind of conviction move lower, that fear move lower, let's say, to accelerate lower, to break the back of the previous rally, and to begin establishing a downward trend rather than a topping market or an uptrend. So I'm trying to flip the boat here. I'm trying to flip the flip the dinghy. That's what the pattern is trying to do here. So far, it's proving quite the challenge. But I think we will get there. Let's see if third wave down comes this week, or sorry, next week. Forgive me. Okay, silver. Silver has moved low enough to at least suggest that I'm not barking mad here, as so many of you like to suggest that I am. And I still haven't ruled out that alternate account here. So the alternate account would suggest a drop back below, $18 somewhere to complete. But at least on the main count, I would look for 3 waves down in wave 2, and I'm at a minimum looking for a break of $22, and we are not there yet. So the action this week has been favorable to the count. Let's see. We haven't got a break of that $22 support yet, and wave C I think should do that. So the count that I'm looking at here, I suppose I should actually move this up by 1 degree. I'll do that tonight. If we go to the 4-hour count, I'm looking for a completion of wave 1 and a rally in wave 2. So maybe I'm being a little bit. Maybe I am being a little bit. I'm pushing the wave count a little bit too much on that. That's probably a reasonable possibility here, but we do have a developing 5-wave pattern lower. Maybe that's a series of 1-2s rather than a one pattern. And I'll go to the short-term count again. Forgive me. Maybe this is a series of 1-2. Well, it is on this count, but maybe it's a moving at 1 degree higher. The previous wave pattern doesn't. I think the previous rally didn't really allow me to kind of didn't allow me visually, I think, to move to a higher degree just yet. But anyway, I do think that the pattern is developing quite favorably towards the main wave count, and I think the alternate count, even more bearish count, is probably is getting a boost in probability as well. To be honest, over the last week, the pattern has flatlined over the last couple of days. I've been looking for a 4th wave rally, but maybe I'm even a little bit. I might be even a little bit premature on that one. If we do get wave 4, maybe we'll push back towards $23 again, and that's kind of what I'm suggesting in the nightly updates. I wouldn't like to see any move higher than 23.78. That's the previous 4th wave here. If we do get that, then I'll have to rethink completely what I'm suggesting here. But for the moment, the main wave count is working quite well. I may move the degree of labeling up, but even then, I don't think we're done with this decline. I think we need to at least see a break of $22, and once we get there, if we start bottoming, let's go to the 4-hour count here again. If we start bottoming somewhere down around, $21 again, I'll be pretty satisfied then that wave C of 2 is done, and we will look higher into wave 3. Let's see where we go from here. Bitcoin. The 4-hour top, 4-hour count shows a possible top for wave 4 of. Let's go to the daily count. That'll be wave 4 of C. So here you go. So wave 4 of C. So this wave count suggests another decline into wave 5 of C, and we should be bringing ourselves, way back down again. Probably, I would conservatively suggest that maybe somewhere around 5,000, maybe even lower. But anyway, we do have to deal with this top fourth wave correction, nice impulsive rally into wave 5. So far, we could have a 5-wave decline and a second wave lower high. We'll go to the hourly count and I'll show you that. So we have an initial move lower and 3 waves up. And here is the possibility. So we've got wave 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5. That could be a triangle as well. I don't know. The most recent low, anyway, around 28,500, looks to me to be a possible wave 1 low. The action over the last week or couple of weeks has probably completed a flat correction wave 2, and we've moved lower again. So while this count is a little bit speculative, I haven't proved a third wave, we haven't proved a top yet, but it does favor the idea that we've got a top in place. And I would like to see again an acceleration lower into a third wave. I think I've said that 1,000 times tonight. I'll go to the NASDAQ and we will see where we stand there. So I was looking for a top in wave C of 2, which almost retraced the whole blooming decline in wave 1. But so far, we have, let's say the pattern has reversed. I think it's yet to develop a 5-wave pattern lower. So we've got a possible 1 and 2. Maybe we're accelerating into the third wave in the technology stocks. That would be quite favorable. Let's say I would aim for a break of that previous fourth wave low. So that's 14,690 again. When we do that, if we do that and we complete 5 waves down, then we're looking. That might be a harbinger for the wider market again. Okay, I think that's it. Forgive me for stumbling over my tongue a few times tonight. As always, I do like to finish each nightly update or each weekend update on the video with a more pressing matter. The economy, your job, let's say your ability to create wealth, your ability to accumulate wealth, your ability to provide for yourself and your family, they're all important things. And they do depend on what's going on, in the wider economy and in the markets. So, it's not a useless task, let's say, to follow the markets and to know where the larger trends are going. But I would suggest also to know where the larger trend of your life is going, and that, I'm afraid, that comes to an inevitable endpoint also. So that inevitable endpoint is what we like to denote as death. You may not know this, but that is just the beginning. It's the beginning of eternity. Look around you. Look around the creation that you live in, the very fact that you exist. The very fact that your eyes can see and your spine holds your body up. And that you can put one foot in front of the other and walk and have conscious thoughts and make plans and have love and create and think. All these things point to the fact that you didn't develop out of ooze or goo from primordial ocean. It's just bullshit. Excuse my language. The truth is, you are wonderfully and fearfully made. You are made in the image of your Creator. You have a purpose. That purpose is to get back to Him. We have been betrayed by our by our forefathers, but a way has been made. Adam did betray the trust of God, and we lost the Holy Spirit. And Because of that, we have to live and die and suffer death. But there is a way back to God. God himself made that way. He came into this earth. He, Jesus, Yeshua, the express image of God in creation. He lived the perfect life. He took your sin upon him, and he died on that cross. And through him, belief in him, the Messiah, the promised one, belief in him will bring you back to right standing with God, because you are made clean by your belief. As Jesus said, it's not what you put into your body that makes you holy or clean. It's what comes from the heart that makes you clean. The abundance of the heart. And that basically is the gospel. Searching for God out of the abundance of your heart. If you search for God and you believe that he gave you a way back to him in Jesus Christ, you are saved. That's it. You're done. You're sealed. Then go forth and live for God to the best of your ability. And some might say, that's fanciful, and one man sinned and everybody is supposed to partake in that sin somehow, or we are doomed by that one man's sin, that that Adam, the sin of Adam. But we didn't partake in the sin of Adam, but also we didn't partake in the action that saved us from the sin of Adam and from our own sins. It's nothing got to do with us, basically. Jesus did it all. Adam did it all. We add in on top of that through our own sins, but Jesus did it all also. Adam didn't believe God and he lost the Holy Spirit. And we are supposed to believe God to regain the Holy Spirit. So it's a reverse. What's been asked of you is the reverse of Adam, of what Adam did. It's to believe what God did for you. And in doing that, in following the Messiah, you step out from under Adam and you step into the glorious light of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And that is the gospel. I've done a roundabout trip on it there. Search these things yourself. Read the scriptures. You'll see it. If you search earnestly for God, God won't hide himself from you. And that is that. If you like what I do, get over to bullwise.org. If you want nightly updates like the one that's coming later on tonight, join up and I'll see you on the website. Until next week, if I'm still alive, I'll be back, YouTube land. Bye-bye.